The KUDZUKIAN Network presents Grindset, inside the mind of successful entrepreneurs with your host, Cynthia Daniels and Brack.
I think sometimes we overplan things and that can kind of cause a delay or setback. But I would definitely say dive in, get your name started, get your website up, get your business cards.
But you're going to learn from a lot of amazing people what kind of pitfalls that they have, the challenges, but what really made them successful, what made them keep going.
Grindset.
Welcome back to another episode of Grindset, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network. I'm your host, Cynthia Daniels, Chief Event Strategist of Cynthia Daniels and Company.
And I'm your co-host, Brack, asset-based lender at First Tennessee Bank.
Today we have Zii Davis. She is the founder and CEO of Makeup by Zii. Zii is a well-sought makeup artist, and she's worked with both celebrities on television networks.
Hey, Zii.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm amazing. So excited to be here.
And you look so beautiful today.
Oh, thank you.
Did you put on a little makeup for us today?
A little something.
You are your brand. Huh?
I am.
So at the age of 22, she founded her company, Makeup by Zii. We're going to learn so much about her in today's episode.
Absolutely. And Zii's bringing a great energy, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. You're listening to Grindset, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network, and we'll be right back after the break with Zii Davis.
That's me.
Grindset on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Jazz, America's own original musical art form. When did it start? Who were and are some of the major players? How do you distinguish what kind of jazz you're listening to? We talk about the great and lesser-known artists, songs and tunes, the instruments, and the social impact jazz has had on world culture since its beginning at the start of the 20th century.
Riffin' on jazz on the KUDZUKIAN Network. KUDZUKIAN!
As promised, we have Zii Davis, founder and CEO of Makeup by Zii, with us today on Grindset, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Hey, Zii.
We are super excited to have you in the studio today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
So look, tell us a little bit about your company, Makeup by Zii. What exactly do you do?
So I am a professional freelance makeup artist, and what that means is I do not work for a counselor. I work on my own.
Okay.
And I service women of all facets. My specialty is natural makeup. I believe in keeping you looking like you.
I love it.
And I provide full service makeup applications. I do microblading, and I also have classes.
Okay, because I think the term now is get your face beat.
Yes.
So do you beat faces, or what do you say?
I can beat faces, but I like to grace faces.
Oh, I see that branding. She graces faces.
She graces faces.
Yes.
Now, you say you like to do natural makeup and keep people looking like themselves.
Yes.
From a guy like me, that just sounds like a contradiction, right? How do you do that?
You have to look at a woman's features and ask the right questions. So when I first get a client in my chair, I ask them first where they're going.
Okay.
What they have going on that day, what are they wearing? And then my next question, especially to new clients, is have you worn makeup before? If they have not worn makeup before, then I know where to add and I know where to take away.
You don't want to scare them.
No, I don't want to scare them. And then they won't come back.
Sounds like you've been doing this for a while.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a long time.
And so how did your company even get started? You said you do freelance. So a lot of people do work for other companies and work at counters. How did this company get started?
So I used to model here locally in the city of Memphis. And when I modeled, we had to do our own makeup to prepare for the shows.
Okay.
And I was just the girl who could do it better than everybody else. So everybody would ask me to do their eyeshadow, and I just kind of got good at doing eyeshadow. Then I went to this one fashion show, and I saw a girl there, and she was doing makeup, but everybody that got out of her chair looked a fool. And I was
What not to do.
Yes, I was like, now I know if she can do this and get paid, I can try my hand at this thing and get paid too. And that's how it started. The next day after the show was on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Then Monday, my feet were to the ground running.
Now, that's a major key alert, right?
That's a major
When you
key
watch
alert.
people that can't do it and you recognize that you can do it.
Well, so the major key is knowing that you can do something, saying you're doing it, and then doing it.
Exactly.
Right? Because most people be like, oh, yeah, I can do that. And then they go on about their day.
Yeah.
But you said, I can do this. And what year did you start?
So that was in 2012. I remember it was January 2012.
Wow.
And I just decided to get up and start studying skin types. I bought books. I started going to, I enrolled into YouTube University.
Oh, yeah.
For the
major key, major key alert. Educate yourself, and if you can do it for free, do it.
Why not?
Absolutely. So I finessed a complete cosmetology or beauty degree from
finesse. That's the word for the
YouTube University.
I love it. And so, starting your own company again, I feel like I'm privy to this information because I am your client.
Yes,
and
you
she
are.
does some amazing work.
Thank you.
But what were some of the challenges you faced when you started your company?
Some of the challenges were there was not a big social media wasn't a big deal at the time.
Okay.
So with social media, we had just came off the wave of MySpace. Instagram was new.
I remember that.
You know, we were burying Black Planet.
Yeah.
So Instagram was new, and I was seeing all of these other makeup artists, but no one was willing to help.
Oh, wow.
So there were limited classes.
Okay.
And with those limited classes, I really felt like I was a fish out of water.
Okay.
Because I was accustomed to doing only makeup for the eyes,
Okay.
but not makeup for your skin.
Okay.
So I was a little lost. I was lost on what products to buy, and it was all trial and error. And now when I go back and look at those past pictures,
Yeah.
I miss the people.
Did you apologize to them?
You know, I have not had the chance to apologize.
Okay. So were they clients or were they just friends? I mean, were you practicing on people? Did you feel like you can go ahead out the gate and make a profit and book clients? What was that like for you?
So when I first started, I was a model. So I had all of my modeling friends. I was their teacher.
Okay. You used your network.
Yes, I used what I had. So I had a lot of models, and I would constantly practice on them doing their makeup for the shows that we had. And then I had friends who allowed me to play around.
So did you start making money? And you started in January 2012. So I'm doing this and I'm self-educating. When did you get your first client? Was that in the next day, January 2012?
That was more like February 2012.
Okay.
So that was the next month, and I was charging $30, maybe $30, $35.
Oh, I need that rate. Wait a minute.
I've
Where the
seen your
TBT
new
rate?
prices.
I was charging about $30 to $35, and I would.
You don't want that. You heard what she said earlier.
No, you don't know.
She'll just do my eyes for 35 like your eyes only.
No. And I used to do that, and I cut that off.
Okay.
All the way off. So yeah, that was where I started with the models that I had, with the friends that I had at the time, and it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. So when did you decide to actually raise prices? How did you know it was time to start charging more?
So my gauge was always how I felt. If I finished and I did a great job, and I knew I had upgraded my kid, I had went to get some more education, I had taken a class, I learned something new, and I started implementing that new technique, then I felt like, okay, I just finished, and I look at that $35 and I'm like, ugh. I think I should raise my prices. But it was a mental block there.
Why?
Because you're new. I was new. I was fresh in the game. I looked at other makeup artists, and I was constantly comparing myself to those that I saw on Instagram. And if my work did not match theirs, then I felt like I didn't deserve to be paid more.
You can find the best of the best on Instagram.
Of course.
So absolutely. And so what I find is really interesting about your story, like many of our listeners, you took the traditional route. You know, you were at Christian Brothers University. Like myself, I have 2 degrees.
Yes.
You have 2 degrees, but you're not using either degree.
No.
Can you tell us a little bit about what made you go from having that traditional American dream to now owning your own company?
So here's what happened with that.
Okay.
I followed the path that my mentors suggested. They told me, hey, get an internship while you're in college so that, you know, by the time you get out of college, you should have a job lined up. And that didn't work out.
Okay.
I worked at one of the top Fortune 500 companies, and it was fun. It was great. I shared my best experience, my best talent. And at the end of that journey, when I got ready to graduate, they looked at me and said, "Zii, we do not have a job for you."
Wow.
And I was heartbroken. I was upset. I was pissed.
Yes.
Because I had given them 3 years of my talent, and I felt like y'all could have created a job for me or something.
Something, right?
Something. Hook a girl up with something.
You're listening to Grindset, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network. We're here with Zii Davis, and she's talking about the experience of having 2 degrees and putting in the work to achieve the corporate dream, and then that just kind of not being what it is. It's like it's nowhere, right? So where were you? And you said you were pissed, but can you further explain kind of your headspace then? Because if you get something like that, you start to wonder about what your future is, where you're going. You're doing modeling on the side. Like, where are you, like, mentally and emotionally in that point?
So at that point, I was in grind mode. What am I going to do? I have, at this point, a chance to make a decision. Am I going to be a statistic and be a college student who constantly searches for a job and ends up with something that that is not relevant to what my degrees are?
Right.
Or am I going to make my own path? And at the time, my mom was opening her own business.
Okay.
And I had already been doing all the work because I was her daughter.
It comes with the territory.
Yeah, it just came with the territory.
That business still open?
Yes, her business is still open.
Business?
Her business is called Alpha and Omega Food and Nutrition Program Incorporated.
Like the commercial. Shout out to mom.
And she has a food program for daycare centers. And so I was already balancing her books, acting as her accountant.
Interesting.
I was trying to help her build a brand.
Okay.
And so I took what I learned from my corporate experience.
Yep.
I saw that they had mission and values. I said, Mama, you need mission and values. They had a website. Mama, you need a website. And she had no clue about those things.
Wow.
And so I wrote a proposal because I wanted her to take me seriously. I wanted her to know that I was going to get out of my room, come down the stairs, get in the car, and drive to her office and work. And so I wrote a proposal to her and asked if I could work for her. I already knew how much she could afford to pay me because I was balancing the books. And I told her, this is what you can afford, but this is what I will take. And I also knew that it was a win-win for me as well because I had the flexibility and the understanding of my mother to know that I was grinding as well on my own dreams too. So I can do makeup on the side, but as long as I had my work done with my mom.
That's pretty good. So how long did it take you from, helping your mom and building that business, doing makeup on the side, getting better and better and better, right, to deciding that you can do makeup full time? Like, what's that journey?
So it took about 3 years. Hello.
It's not overnight. That's what people need to understand.
3 years is not overnight.
No, it's not.
It took about 3 years. And during that 3 years, it was hard because now, there's a relationship between my mother and I. There was a little strain between that relationship. So I hated going to work.
Oh, wow.
I just hated showing up.
Okay.
Because I needed my mom and not my boss. And I didn't know at the time who I was going to get.
Exactly.
So that was hard. That was emotionally draining.
Right.
But I took clients in the office. I took clients at home. And just kept building and building until the income evened out.
So I want to pause. How did you and your mom kind of reconcile and get through that? Because that just, you got to live together, you got to work together, then you doing business, she's doing business. Like, how do you manage that relationship in that situation?
You just go from day to day. All I can say is I made it.
Both of y'all still alive, though,
yes,
right?
we're still alive, and we're so much closer now. But I did recognize the strain and knowing that I really did need to get away from my mom in order to get along with my mom.
How's the relationship now?
Amazing.
I love it. He's getting in his Dr. Phil mode.
Come on, Dr. Phil.
Let me take it to the other side.
I heard how the voice changed. Did you hear the voice?
Tried to unpack it.
Yeah.
Well, for me, what I caught from that was Zii really wasn't operating in her gift. And I think I've dealt with that as an entrepreneur, and you saw yourself helping your mom build her brand, build her business, but ultimately your gift was to do something else. So I think that's why some people get uncomfortable. They hate their job, they hate who they're working for, but they don't know internally that you're not even operating in your gift. It's time for you to do something different.
And so I have a little theory that I teach sometimes when I'm talking about passion and your gift, and we hear a lot of times to operate in your gift, but there's a difference between your gifts and then your talents. And so makeup for me was a talent, and a talent is something that you learn. It's not something that is automatically in you, instilled in you. That's why I had to enroll into YouTube University. That's why I had to practice so much. But a gift is something that's naturally God given to you, something that you do without thinking about it. And so for me, I'm a fast learner. I can learn something really fast, and that's the gift that God gave me. He gave me a gift of creativity. Anything I put my hands on, I'm really, really good at. So I just had to figure out where to use my gift to expose my talent.
Bars.
I love that. I want to ask you one other thing before we jump into how you have inspired other women, because I hear a preacher coming at some point down the line. But you're working in the service industry with so many different personalities, and I can only imagine there are listeners out there that also are interested in that space. But how do you deal with so many different personalities and be able to make everybody feel like special? And I'm sure you have some attitudes, but you are your business. How does that work?
I try to create an environment that's welcoming and calm and peaceful. And then I take the time to listen. But even before that, I pray. I pray before I work. I pray for all of my clients. And I know this is old school, but you know, ever so often I will walk around and throw oil around my home.
Oh wow!
Because that's where I work.
Yeah,
sage too.
Yeah. No, we don't do sage. There's no power in the sage. No anointing in the sage.
I love it.
So I will make sure that I pray over my clients and I pray over my work. But balancing those personalities, you just have to be a good listener. And I understand that so many people are going through so much. Right. And so I want my space, when women come in, I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to, if they need to relax, I can recognize when they want to talk. I can recognize when they don't want to talk. And I'm okay with being quiet and allowing them that moment away from children, away from their husband, away from their jobs, to just be and have girl time.
I love that.
You're listening to Grindset, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network. We're here with Zii Davis of Makeup by Zii. She's been gracing faces and gracing the mic here with us on Grindset. We'll be right back after the break.
Grindset on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Keeping it real, right, and funky.
Tasha Downey, that other co-host, Tasha.
In this building, I want to talk about and make some mad beats.
Well, you know, speaking about
there
making,
you go. You mean beats? Bring out my inner rap artist. Like I'm here for.
Oh, you talking about B-E-A-T? I thought you talking about the beats.
Funky politics on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Hey, this is Zii Davis, founder and CEO of Makeup by Zii. And when I'm not gracing faces, I'm checking out Grindset with Brack and Cynthia on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
You're listening to Grindset, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network. We're here with Zii Davis, founder and CEO of Makeup by Zii. And we just started talking about the origin story. And now I want to talk about the business a little bit.
Okay.
And so it's a question for both you and Cynthia, right? So,
all right.
Oh, really? Got a question for me.
So the question is, one, how do you prove to clients that you pay $85 for makeup? And Cynthia, how do you $85 for makeup seem high to me, right? How do you justify spending $85?
Right, because you're a man, right? I guess it does sound
that's not unfair. That's not unfair.
We'll go with Zii first, all right?
Okay, so here's how I break that down. First is experience. You want a quality experience.
Right.
So there's expectation. You want to make sure that your foundation is going to match your skin. You're going to look like yourself. You're not going to look ghostly. Okay. You're going to look... You're going to have a quality professional.
That's a real thing, ghostly.
Look.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
I've seen it. I was just joking. I've seen it. I was like, no,
and then I also have a lot of makeup experience. So I've worked with some celebrities. I worked with WGN TV Network. And that experience counts when you look at a professional makeup artist. And I want to make sure that my makeup applications also last. When my clients come and they are getting their last slot, which is early in the morning, by the time they hit the party, I want their makeup to still look good. So that counts towards my price point.
Waterproof?
Yeah, it can be waterproof as well. Because I have to do weddings too. And then professionalism. So am I timely? Are you, when you come for your appointment, are you waiting 30 minutes or do you hop right into the chair?
Exactly.
And my clients, they get right into the chair and I do not take a long time.
Yeah.
And this actually reminds me the first time I went to Zii. This is going to answer your question, but it's also a little story.
I mean, that's fair.
Every now and then I get to talk on the show.
Welcome to Grindset.
So when I turned 35, I threw a 35 champagne brunch. So I invited 35 people to a very intimate venue, and it was about turning up in the daytime.
That's
it was
real
champagne brunch. So my appointment was 6:00 in the morning on a Saturday.
Wow.
The first thing I noticed was that Z had a standard fee, but if I wanted to go at 6 o'clock, there was an additional fee. But I heard so much about her. I said, well, she has to be worth it, right? So she comes out very professional at 6 o'clock, which that meant she was up early.
She came to you.
Ready for me. No, meaning in her studio. You've been to early morning appointments where people are groggy.
Not 6 a.m. on a Saturday, but she wasn't groggy.
She was not groggy. She was very pleasant, very professional, very calming experience. And my party was at 11 o'clock. My makeup, not only did it last during the turn up during the middle of the day, but then we went to see Straight Outta Compton right after. So all day, my face did not change. It was got tons of compliments, and it was very professional. And I didn't look ghostly. So even just from that one experience, thinking, man, I almost said man. I've been in Memphis how long? Come on. From 6 a.m. to I think maybe we turned in around 8 o'clock that evening, my face looked the same. So I knew no matter how much it cost that I was going to continuously go to her. When I became an entrepreneur, obviously I am my brand. I'm going to different events. I host a gala. I have to look a certain way. So any look I need, she's able to do it. And no matter how much her prices increase, I'm going to rock with her because that's her brand.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Don't increase
that
your
means
prices.
a lot.
It's on the record, though.
Right. It's on record now.
Well, and so in that vein, right, you have YouTube University out there.
Yes.
You have Instagram.
Yes.
And doing makeup has just exploded. And so now there's more competition, I assume, than there was in 2012 and in 2015. Like, how are you dealing with both the national, because I've seen your work in Essence, and local competition to do makeup?
I don't deal with competition. I stay focused on me. That was one thing that almost took me out in the beginning was scrolling on Instagram. I remember the day I stood in the kitchen and I unfollowed a lot of makeup artists because I had just finished a client and I was feeling like I know that I'm doing what this girl is doing. Right. I am using the exact same products. I have watched every snippet of her tutorials, and my work is just not looking like her work.
Wow.
I was comparing myself way too much. Yeah. And at that moment, before the tear fell, I made a commitment to myself to stay focused on Z.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what will come, will come.
Yeah.
The people are already coming. They're not complaining. So why are you complaining?
Yeah.
And of course, there's a thin line of wanting to be better, to aspire to, be better. But I stop comparing myself and I focus on me. Because if I look left and I look right, then I'm out of my gift.
Got to put the blinders on to maintain confidence. Huh?
There you go. Bars.
We in the studio, of course.
We are.
and then the third question is, right, how did you know, right, you're doing good work, you're getting better, you shut off the Instagram, you're charging more and more. How did you know you had enough clients to do Makeup by Z full time?
So it's all numbers.
Oh, what was that number?
Ooh, you talking to the numbers guy. What you got for him? What you got?
It was numbers. So no specific number, but if I looked at my 2 checks that I got from working with my mom,
okay,
and then I looked at the money that I was making from doing makeup, it started to even out. It was balanced. And then makeup started to increase. Okay. That number was increasing more than how much I was making with my mom. Go.
No, I forget the guess, but they said make your full-time job pull you, make your hustle or your entrepreneurship pull you away from your other job. That was Charles Ewing. Yeah. And you did that. The number spoke, and as the number rose, it pulled you further and further away from your mom's business.
Absolutely, because now you're even more busy.
Yeah.
So the numbers just have to match.
I love that. And so speaking of numbers matching and being able to do this full time, we'd love to jump into growth.
Yes.
Right. And so again, I've been able to watch you, and as a client, as a friend, I'm proud of you, but you had the audacity to create a platform where you did the first beauty brunch and empowerment workshop for women in the city of Memphis. And you've been doing this thing for 3 years now. So can you talk about Rock Your Crown, how it came about, why you do it? And, again, I did the numbers. You touched over 500 women. You've inspired them. So talk a little bit about that.
So Rock Your Crown was actually birthed from the conversations that I would have with my clients in the chair. They were looking at me saying, oh my gosh, you're doing what you love. That must be awesome. And so I would ask them what they were doing. Did they enjoy what they were doing and what they were going to do about it? And most of them just did not know what to do. They didn't know what to do, and they had never had the conversation about having or attaining more for themselves that felt more fulfilling.
That sounds like our listeners right now.
Yeah, so they were just kind of going through the motion. They were going through the motion.
And you're listening to Grindset on the KUDZUKIAN Network. Zii is dropping some major keys
Major keys today. Major key alert.
So please tell us more about Rock Your Crown, and again, coming from those conversations from your clients.
So Rock Your Crown was created to help women to discover a lifestyle of vision. And so the key component of Rock Your Crown is building vision boards and understanding how to change your mindset. And I thought that was important because vision boards helps them to constantly keep their goals and dreams in front of them. And I really wanted them to learn how to go back to their original goals and dreams. Those dreams where, you know, I used to set up teddy bears in my room when I was little because I wanted to be the teacher. And so now I teach everything that I can because that was my original goal and dream. So I want women to be able to let the distractions go at least for a couple of hours to get back to those original goals and dreams, and also be uplifted and inspired and encouraged by other women that are just like them, who changed the trajectory of their lives.
Wow.
And what do you tell women that are, you know, quote unquote, living that American dream, getting those comfortable paychecks every 2 weeks, but they're so unhappy? How do you help them make that jump into what they really want to do?
You have to make a decision to start.
Is that simple?
It's that simple.
Start.
Make a decision to start.
Okay.
Doing something. There is so much more, and staying on your job, being comfortable is not safe. It's so important to do. I did another podcast talking about the dangers of one income stream. It's so important, and at this time, you know, we've been woke. You know? With the things that are going on in the economy, in the presidency right now. So it's so important to have more than one income stream. And I'm not saying quit your job. I'm just saying have something for yourself.
Speaking of multiple streams, in 2017, you decided to drop Crowned Affirmations.
Yes.
So you're also an artist on a digital platform.
Yes.
How did that come about, and how do you even find time to do this?
Time is the major question. I want to know this too.
Yeah. So Crowned Affirmations was birthed from just kind of a lot of the challenges that I dealt with were internal challenges. It was more me trying to fight self-doubt, understanding that I was good enough, understanding that, you know, what I had to offer was valuable, especially in such a saturated industry. And so I went to a conference, and this lady made us stand up, and she made us repeat 3 affirmations. I am wanted, I am worthy, and if I try, I will succeed. I took those home, and I repeated that every day for probably a month.
That's discipline.
And I said, if that works to change how I think about myself, I'm going to make some more affirmations about my business.
I love it.
And I started doing that, and I was like, okay, now I need to wake up and listen to these. And I tried this. The album that you hear is like the 3rd draft.
You're kidding.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So I tried this, and it was so boring. I was about to put myself to sleep. I could barely take it.
Listen to your own voice.
Listen to my voice, and then the music, because I was trying to mimic what I heard other affirmations do, and they play it over some,
soft,
melancholy music.
Tranquil.
You know, it's just,
rainwater.
you know, and I was like, this is not it. So I had to find something that felt good to me and something that I would want to listen to. And so I think it's pretty bumping.
I love it, because I've heard they call you the talking Beyonce in the street.
You know, a toddler gave me that name.
I love it. But again, she's able to help women chase their dreams.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's on your 2019 vision board? And speaking of goals in general, how do you ensure that you're going to achieve your goals?
So on my 2019 vision board, I am excited to release a apparel line. So you guys are getting an exclusive.
Whoa, where's the button?
You heard it here first.
Sound effects. I love it. Oh, come on, apparel line.
So I am really excited to release an apparel line called Graced Apparel.
Love it.
And
I'm over here pop locking. You can't see me, but I'm excited.
Yes, and I think that it would go so well with my brand because I do believe in grace and faces, but my brand is more about grace, confidence, and beauty. And a lot of women have some really great stories where, you know, we should have been, could have been, and would have been, but God has graced us to do more. I
love it. And so 2019, you just dropped a major announcement. Thank you. That give us a little clout, hopefully. You know, as we close the show, because unfortunately we do have to get to that point. We can't keep you here all day, but I'd love to invite you back because this has been amazing. I would love for you to share with those listeners out there that are, again, at the cubicle. They hate their job, but they love that paycheck. What advice can you give them to, I know you said to start, but if they're not ready to start, what else can they do today to get one step closer to that business they've been wanting to launch?
I would say lay a brick a day and train your mind.
Okay.
A lot of times we count ourselves out before we even allow the world to count us out.
Okay.
And that's because there's two voices in our heads, and we have to be the loudest voice in our heads telling ourselves that, yes, I can. Yes, I am valuable. Yes, I have something that this world wants. I just have to find out what it is. And so listening to some motivational encouragement, listen to Crowned Affirmations.
Listen to Grindset, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network.
It's so important to train your mind and start feeding your mind positivity, clearing the clutter and feeding your mind positivity. And just like I said, build one brick a day.
I love that.
One brick a day. If it's research, if it is figuring out what resources that you need, one brick a day.
I love that.
Don't try to conquer the world in one day.
That's my problem. I'm trying to take over the whole world, pink in the brain. So before we close, tell the listeners how to get more information about Makeup by Zii, Rock Your Crown, and Crown Affirmations, and Grace, the apparel line.
Awesome. You can visit me at imzii.com. That's IMZ and it's ZII.com. Everything is there.
That's a one-stop shop.
I was on the website. Everything is there. That's
Well, Zii, this has been an amazing interview. I'm just so proud. Thank you for taking time to stop by and inspire some listeners out there.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I had a great time.
Absolutely. Hopefully we can have you back. You've been listening to Grindset, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network, and we had such a great time with Zii. Not only did Zii bring great makeup, she brought great energy, and she brought great major keys. And so I want to talk about the major keys today. One is, whatever you decide to do, self-educate. And if you're going to self-educate, take advantage of free educational resources that exist.
Right.
Google, YouTube University, family and friends, other professionals, Instagram, whatever the case may be. But then the most important thing she said is take action. Right? You know you can do something. Just do it instead of overthinking it. Next, invest in yourself. You start making money and you start charging people. Increase the value of your equipment. Buy more tools, more brushes, whatever it is that your profession is. Invest in yourself. 2, make your own path. Focus on your work instead of the competition. And when it comes time to do something full time, let the numbers pull you into full time. And then let your clients drive your next product.
Yeah.
And then lastly, just start.
That was my favorite one. Just start.
Just
like,
start.
What advice do you have? Just start.
Yeah. I give you a lot of major keys. Just start.
Just start. And so listeners, normally I have my woman power quote of the week, but again, we have Zii still in the studio.
Here I am.
We convinced her to stick around. And I wanted her to share something from Crowned Affirmations. It's the ultimate album that inspires women. If you need something early in the morning to get you going, one thing she didn't talk about with the production on the album. There's some really great beats on there. So I'm going to kick it over to Zii so she can share a little bit of inspiration from Crowned Affirmations.
So this comes from the album Crowned Affirmations, which is actually played in more than 26 countries right now. This is from track 5. It's called Belief Affirmations for Confidence. I believe in me, and where I am right now is where I need to be. My past does not deter me, wanted and unworthy. There is no limit to what I can achieve.
That was incredible, Z. I'm going to have to listen to that in the car on the way home now. Oh,
Please
my
do.
God. One of my favorites is Z. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your testimony. Thank you for inspiring me once again to just continue to be an entrepreneur and believing in myself. You've been listening to Grindset, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network. We'll catch you next time.
Grindset, executive producer Epicenter. Recorded at KUDZUKIAN Studios. Grindset is directed, produced, recorded, and distributed by KUDZUKIAN.